All right, there we go. How's that? Better, better, better. Gosh, sorry about that. All right, so welcome to the show. And like I said, last week we were in New Jersey for the 200th episode of the Coffee and Cigars Livestream on the Ono Live channel, and got to hang out with Bryant, Mom, and everybody, and Rusty, and got to have a good time. But anytime that I'm in New York City or that area, I like to go to a place called Mitsuwa Marketplace, which is in this town called Edgewater on the New Jersey side of the Hudson River. It looks directly across Manhattan. It's really, actually, you can stand from the banks of Edgewater, and it's just a beautiful view, right? Iconic for New York City. But at this shopping center is a place called Mitsuwa Marketplace. And Mitsuwa is this chain of Japanese-focused grocery stores that have different locations around the country. This is the closest one to where I live here, and it's fairly sizable. They've got a lot of, Japanese foods and sundries. Peter, how are you doing today? How are things in Singapore? And a lot of fresh foods and stuff like that, really. And they bring some stuff in they bring a lot from Japan. They even had the very special royal melon for $125 that were available. I almost bought some of the strawberries for $25, but I was like, 6 strawberries for $25. That's a bit crazy. But, I like to get my cereal, the Frugra Kalbi cereal. I love that. But anyway, we're there, and they also have a few other stores. They've got a food court, so you can get Santoko Hokkaido style ramen, as well as tempura and different types of dishes that are available. They have a new vendor there, relatively new, that's making taiyaki, and taiyaki is basically that kind of like waffle cake that they make in sort of a waffle arm, but they make it as a shape of a fish. It looks like a fish. And then they'll fill it with things like sweet red azuki bean or cream. My favorite little taiyaki place that's right by Shimbashi Station, between Shimbashi and Ginza, closed during the pandemic. I went to this taiyaki place, and they were like, "Oh, it's going to take another 45 minutes before we're ready." And I was like, "Oh, all right, I get it. Oh, I thought you were in Singapore, Peter. My apologies. Where are you? I thought somewhere along the way we said you were from Singapore, but let me know. I'm curious. I am curious. I will try to remember. I make all kind of memory gets hazy sometimes, but there's also a place called Little Japan that is this kind of like a general store. They've got all kinds of stuff in there, and there's a Daiso 100 yen store. And there's a Kinokuniya books. But every time that I'm there, I always go, and I like to shop and spend my money there. So I've got a bunch of stuff that I thought I'd share with you. Some of it's coffee related. Some of it's stuff we're going to be using for the new shop. Some is just stuff I think is generally kind of interesting. But let's see what we got here. So here, let's get this first bag. Something fell. So this is our first bag here. This is a bag. Actually, this stuff I picked up on my last trip, and it's just been sitting. It had been sitting on the roastery for, the last, I don't know, year or two, maybe a year. It's been sitting around for a year, and I thought let's get into it and let's have a look at what we have here. So in this bag is all this stuff. So first things first, we've got this instant coffee cap. These are things that I was picking up because I was thinking I'm going to make a video about them and do like a review video. But the truth is, I don't really product reviews. I'm not really a big fan of doing product reviews. Like I'm just like whatever. So this is an instant coffee cap. So this, you take this and you screw this onto like your instant coffees. Actually, I didn't even read that. When I bought it, I thought it was like a cap that you put for, like on a thermal thing. And I was thinking, why would I buy that? Or why would you buy that when you have it? Then I realized now, spraying, if you if you want to put, I don't know, any kind of, let's say, essences. I mean, it's a vacuum spray bottle, so it'll do all kinds of stuff. I was thinking about using it for, let's say, different types of essence or stuff that we can onto like a beverage or, that kind of thing. What else do we have in here? We've got some dry erase markers. Good. We've got, I bought this because this was cheap. This is, what are these? These are, razors. So here's the thing, how it works at the stores that they've got, they have a pricing. So when you go to Daiso in Tokyo or in Japan, Daiso actually has prices on a lot of this stuff, and 100 yen, 200 yen, and 100 yen in the old days. This is prior to last year. 100 yen was more or less $1, right? So that's kind of how we used to think about it. With the conversion rates of dollar to yen over the last, from like say 2007 to 2019, right before the pandemic, more or less 100 yen was $1. So 100 yen is $1. You know that 1,000 yen is $10. You know 10,000 yen is $100. So you could just kind of roughly gauge. Now it wouldn't be exactly like that, but that's just a general metric that I would use to judge whether, or like just to judge how much it costs. So here's their chart. This is the chart that they're using right now. So any item that does not have a price is now $2. So this particular item does not have a price on the back. Right? There's no, you'll see on some of them, they're printed with the price. Like this item, does this have an item on it? No. Some of them just don't have prices because, you know, in Japan, the Daiso is a 100 yen store. So everything is pretty much 100 yen. So anything that doesn't have a marking is pretty much 100 yen. And now it is $1.99, which if you think about it, $1.99, 100 yen now is lower than $1, right? Like it's probably what, 85 cents. So, you know, $1, not $2, it's more than double the cost that you would have in Japan. Of course, it doesn't count for shipping, but this is the basic chart. So 100 yen or anything that 100 yen, about $2, 250 for 150 yen to 200 to 165, 250 and up, you know, 350 and more. So, you know, it's relatively affordable, not terribly cheap anymore. I mean, if you go to Japan, you'll pay, and you're paying 100, 200 yen, you're going to be paying a lot less than you do here, of course. But then there's the expense of going to Japan, right? That's not cheap either. Do you spritz water on beans before grinding? I do not personally spritz water on beans, just because I just never did it. And I don't necessarily have a lot of issues with static, especially this time of year here in the East Coast of the United States, where we have very high humidity. You know, sometimes we're talking close to 80, 90%, sometimes 100% humidity. So it's very, very high. I find especially during this time of year, there's really no static being generated because of the moisture-laden air. So I don't really find a need for that. And that's something else you could use this for. Maybe that's why I bought it. Maybe I bought that to like play around with the water spritzing. I bought it over a year ago, so I no longer remember. All right, what else do we have in here? We've got, a little back scratcher. Huh? I forgot all about this. I need to put this into my travel kit. This would be so much nicer. I have a bunch of bamboo back scratchers that I bought for like $1 at the Pier 1 import store. And this, you extend it and then... Now, the thing about this, what I like about the bamboo ones, right? The bamboo ones tend to be sharper here, right? The hand will be sharper. And I like it when it's nice and sharp so it can dig into your back because, you know, sometimes it's difficult to get that kind of, you know, like leverage. Like you have to have it be, like this seems a little bit flimsy. Like you want to get good leverage to dig in because, you know, when you got that itch, you want to, you know what I'm saying? All right. And then, you know, if you drop stuff on your desk, you can all use that. So that's okay, that's handy. How much was this? Okay, this is also 100 yen. Excellent, excellent. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Oh, USB power delivery. USB-C to USB-C, excellent. That's $450, so a little bit pricey, $450, but a little pricey, but not pricey when you think about it. If you like go to the computer store. Okay, so we've got some coffee-related items here. But there's also this little container, this bamboo thing. I like that. I think I got this because I was a couple years ago. I was at Dominique Ansel's bakery, and he was using this type of packaging to put his cheesecake. And I was like, oh, can I get this? And I found this at the Daiso, and I just bought it because I wanted to play with it. All right, so we've got some brewing devices here. Let me put this, get some of this out of the way. So let's do a little brewing. We've got brown paper filters, cone shape, 1 to 4. We're not going to use those because we already know that brown filters taste funky. We've got these coffee filters here. These are Daiso. These are Daiso filters, and they're actually pretty good. And this one is, as you can see, this one's not marked. This is not marked, so this would be the 100 yen, and so it'll be $2 for how many filters are in here? 90 sheets, 90 filters for $2. So really a good deal. And then I also picked this up. This is one of their brewers. This is a spring-loaded brewer. Which way does it go? Pretty sure it goes this way. Okay, yeah, there we go. A little bit of springiness there. All right, let's do some of this here. Then we'll get it, as we're having our coffee ready, then we'll get into some of the other stuff. All right. We're going to get our scale. We're going to brew up some coffee here. Oops. $24.4. Okay, so the nice thing about this particular scale, like I said yesterday, it's an AWS. It's relatively affordable, quite inexpensive. You can get it on Amazon. And the nice thing about it is that it's 2,000 grams. So I can use this as a brewing scale, as long as I don't go over 2 kilos. All right, let's get our coffee. We're going to go back to a medium grind here, setting it on 20. All right, excellent, excellent. Let's grind that up here. Right, perfect. We're going to need a little brewing device. So we've got our kettle, this, and this goes on top like that. Let's open this up. Okay, the water is nicely boiling right now. Now, as you can see, this is a Melita style filter, so it's got the flat shape. What we're going to do, and this is, of course, a conical shaped springy thing. So what we're just going to fold it over from seam point to seam point. So from this point to this point, we're just going to fold it over, right, to give us a conical shape that will fit in here. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the point goes through the bottom of that. Now it's not perfect. This is a 2 to 4, so this is the smaller size. It probably work better with the 4 cup, but let's see what happens. Shouldn't be too bad. So again, this particular brewer is going to be pretty inexpensive. Again, this is probably just $1 or $2. This will be $2 now. Okay, there we go. That's right. Tear that. We've got the water's boiling nice and hard. So let's get that ready. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh, it's looking a little bit wobbly. This obviously is not ideal. Oh, yeah, that's not ideal. I'm going to have to adjust a little bit. Oh, this is fraught with danger. You definitely don't want to use the 2-cup filter on this. We're going to have to be careful right here as the weight of the brew goes that way. We're going to have to be careful not to let it overflow. Right? I don't know if you can see that as well. Like it's starting. This is starting to pull down. I have to make sure that we get under here so that I can make sure that that all keeps saturated as well. Make sure the edges are saturated. So we're 120 at just about 1 minute, 10 seconds. So we want to keep it about 100 grams or 100 milliliters of water per minute as our pouring. But now right here, as you can see, I got to be a little bit careful. It may be a little bit hard to see on the video, but we're right on the edge here. Tevin, how are you, man? Tevin. My eyesight is very bad here. You know, you say you're from Thailand. I was going to guess that by the name Tung Buyasin. Tung Buyasin, is that correct? Let me know if I've pronounced that correctly. And welcome to the show. Glad to have you. Here we are, 160. We're 2 minutes. We're a little bit slow here. Tavin's asking, did I go to the Coffee Festival event this year? I did not go to the Coffee Festival this year. I have not been to the Thai Coffee Festival. Probably, I think the last time I was in Bangkok for that was in 2016 when I was overseeing the Barista Championship. But I have not been to the Coffee Festival in Thailand since that time. 225, coming up 215. So we're a little bit slow. We want to come up a little bit harder on it. 235. But I do enjoy Thailand a lot. I have one of my best friends from college. My best friend from college lives there. One of my really close friends and a couple of other close friends from Hawaii that I knew in Hawaii also live there. So yeah, really, really love to try to get out there as much as I possibly can. Okay, we are slow. We are slow. 250. We're at 3 minutes. We need to speed it up just slightly. But I got to be careful because we're really, like, this is ready to collapse right here. Like, it's hard to see here, but it could easily just collapse and fall. But I do think I was there in Bangkok last summer, about a year ago, and had a wonderful time. Got to see my friends and went to visit quite a few of the coffee spots in Thailand. I was really interested in trying places like the first place that I made a video about called Kopahai Thai Key, that really traditional type of Thai coffee joint. I'm really interested in exploring more of the really traditional Thai coffee places, like the old school. I like the old school a lot. Okay, so we're 4 minutes and we're 322. So we are slow. We are running slow. I think that's mainly my pouring. Could have slightly to do with the fineness of the grams. 352.6. We're going to stop there. Let it run out. And then one of our regulars here on the live stream, Kyone, who's actually from Honolulu originally, or Hawaii from originally, but now lives in Bangkok. So he's usually with us. But right now, I think he's going to Portland for an event, or he's somewhere on the mainland. All right, so we've got 4 minutes, 35 seconds, 352. That's good. So this thing, you just kind of pull it off, and you can see that it's, yeah, this is definitely, if you look at it from this angle, you can see that this number 2 is definitely too small for this setup. Normally, the number 2 filters aren't terribly small for a lot of the different brewers, but this one, because it is this spring, I think that just allows a little more collapsing. You might want to pull it higher. But the nice thing about this, it's cheap. And when you just locked it in place, like what I was, let me just show you this here from the other side. This, you just kind of compress and then you push it in like this, these wings, and it kind of locks it in. So you can keep it, like let's say you were to get this other pack, right? Like this, you put them together, like this could be your entire brewing setup on a trip. And of course, if you don't bring 50 filters, you can, you only bring a few filters for your day. Like you can have a very, very compact brewing setup. It's not going to be the nicest brewing setup. It's not the most fancy, but it's definitely going to work, I think. And so let's have a, oh, I'm being a little bit messy here. It does make it a little bit messy. Peter says, I like old school too. The hipsters and coffee snobs destroy that culture. Well, I got to be honest. I was one of those people that destroyed the culture then. Because when I got in the business in 2002, I found my mentor in 2003 who basically brought me into this rabbit hole of specialty coffee, what we called third wave. And I was very much in the mix of the third wave, very much with the pretense, not necessarily the pretense, but we definitely were like, who cares about brewing coffee? We need to focus on espresso. Espresso is where it's at, and so, yeah, I was part of that culture that probably brought it down. What coffee do I use, Tavin? I actually have my own coffee company here in Baltimore, and I've been in the coffee industry for over 20 years, part of the whole third wave movement and all of that. And so I've been in the industry for a long time. We have our own company. We're doing very progressive kind of stuff, sourcing our own coffee. So a lot of coffees that I'll use are actually my own stuff that I've selected from different farmer partners that we work with, or for industry friends. And then I'll try coffees from different places, and so I don't necessarily have one select purveyor. I'm happy to try coffees from anyone, whether it's someone here or let's say Paga in Bangkok. So yeah, I'm open to all of that. I'm open to all of it. One thing I think that you learn as you've been in an industry for a long time or in a craft for a long time is that you start off with a lot. You start off not knowing anything, and so you're hungry to learn. So you want to absorb as much as you can. And then you absorb some, and then you process that into like, and then I think because you have so little knowledge, truly, that you compensate for that with bravado, with dogma, right? Like it must be this way, right? And as I got older, both in age and as well as in the industry, you meet younger people, and and I remember like there's a number of times I'd be sitting at the cigar shop with guys that are younger now, like in their 20s, and they'll make all sorts of prognostications about this is how it is. And I just think to myself, what in the world? Was I this much of a twat when I was 25? And the answer is yes, absolutely. And I remember there's been a couple of times I've had to go to my father and be like, I must apologize for my bullheadedness at that age. Because I would be at the cigar shops having a cigar, and I was like, listening to these guys, it's like, oh God, I was like that. And then I would have to go to my father. That's how I saw my father be like, hey, yeah, my apologies. I would like to think that we didn't necessarily destroy the culture. Like, I think there's definitely, I think that we were definitely very enthusiastic. And I don't think we were, well, there was the older culture. So the older culture is commercial coffees, heavily roasted, burnt, foul tasting. Like it's rough. A lot of the old school traditional coffees are very rough tasting, right? They're rough, at least, especially to my palate. And so definitely we were eschewing that, poo-pooing that kind of thing back then. But I think I think that is kind of needed, even today in today's world, now that I'm one of the old timers and young bucks, young Turks are coming up in the industry. I think it's important for us to remain open to some of their ideas too, because they have enthusiasm that perhaps we no longer have, that we're not so dogmatic about something. So I think they do have something to offer. Like my group of in the industry, we did push the industry in a new direction. Like we went towards better quality, towards better recognition for farmers. There's still a long way to go. There's still a lot of things that I'm rather critical of. Like I just had a message with Perfect Daily Grind, and I was like, you guys need to be more critical. Like coffee media needs to be more critical instead of just cheerleading for the industry. Which is why when I'm making videos about coffee, it's always about like, I want to represent the places that I visit in the best possible light. But if there's something off, I'm not gonna. I want to be someone that's going to say, "Hey, this doesn't taste as good as I liked it to, or I was hoping for. This isn't the way that I would have enjoyed. That I didn't enjoy it." Right. So, all right, let's have a look at a little bit more of what we have in our thing. One of the things I went to 3 different stores. I went to Mitsuwa and bought some groceries. I went to Kinokuniya to buy some books. Let's look at the Kinokuniya. And then I also went to a place called Little Japan. But at Kinokuniya, I ended up buying 2 books here. This is the 50 types of wagashi. And the wagashi are these like things that you'll have when you're eating tea. And some people are using them for pairings with coffees. And I've been interested in more in learning the wagashi. Here's something to keep in mind. Like a lot of this in Japanese. I do have a bunch of books that are in Japanese and other languages, like Brazil and Portuguese and stuff. And the thing is that I haven't been shy to buy books in other languages. The only problem is that I can only look at pictures because I'm essentially illiterate. But now, finally, Google Translate is getting to the point where it's like, it's pretty darn good. So I'm going to start looking at my older books and start reading through them, because perhaps now I can finally understand what the pretty pictures are all about. But let's see here. So these are 50 different types of wagashi. And I've been thinking about making the nirikiri type of wagashi, learning how to make it. My friend was just telling me, he's like, Zojirushi makes a mochi maker. Like you just basically put the sweet short grain rice into the maker and add water, and it will steam the rice and then knead it. And I was like, oh, fresh mochi. I like that. So this is an interesting book, I think, that I picked up. And then I saw this Kotoba. And I don't know, I'm not familiar with this. This is kind of more of a magazine, a zine kind of thing, but it is about coffee. Kinokuniya, aloha to you, man. How are you doing? And this is definitely more magazine style, but it had a bunch of stuff in here about coffees and kisatens. And so again, this is totally in Japanese. So I'm going to have to do a lot of Google translating in order to read some of this. And now it's getting a little bit easier. Like there was a number of other books that I would like to have bought or purchased. The prices here are definitely higher than you'd pay, like, say, on Amazon Japan. So I will buy a couple other things on Amazon Japan because it'll be cheaper. And, there's always the question of, do you buy in Japan and then have it shipped here? Because there's the shipping factor. Is it cheaper to buy it here? And I think if you buy a few items, or there's a number of items, Cafe Polista, I think Polista, I guess they're still open. There was one that closed recently that I heard about. I can no longer remember. But you go to these books and you look. There's so many places to visit that I still haven't, been able to visit. I've been going, to Japan pretty much every year for the last 15 years, and I've been to lots of cafes and kisatens, and it's very difficult to get to a good number of them. All right, let's have a look here. What else we got in our little supply? This is what I got this week. Let's see here. We've got this is a little silicone cup cover. So if you're, we should try using that. Let's go use that now. This is the silicone cup cover. What you can do is you can take this, right? And this is designed to sit over your cup and be a nice little cap to preserve the heat. And actually, we should be tasting this. So let's do some tasting here. Put the cover back on. Here's interesting. I don't know what this is, but it's slit. So you can put like a card or something. Of course, I don't have a card. Let's use this. We can put this little. There we go. So you can put some kind of thing here like that. I'm not sure what that purpose is. Does it say anything about it? Or I guess you can push it in more. No, I think just sit on top. Just sit. Let's sit that on top. Oh, nice. Maybe a little bit of bitterness coming out. Then let's have a little bit of snackiness with it. So I was at Lidl, the grocery store this morning, and I picked this up. They have a pretty decent bakery at Lidl. It is a little bit hot, so it might be sticking a little bit. Oh, here, let's see. There's their chocolate-covered donut, which doesn't look terribly delicious. Look better in the at the store. Keone says, just got to San Francisco. We here 10 days before. Oh, I thought you were headed to Portland. My apologies. Oh, excellent, excellent. So you're there for a show? Is that correct? Is it a tattoo show? Is that right? A little bit more dense and not as fluffy as I enjoy. There's a local bakery here in Baltimore, very old school, called Simon's. That's not too far from where I live. They have these yeasted raised donuts that are so light and fluffy and pillowy. Much nicer than this. This is a little bit more cakey. Not cake dough, but more cakey, like the crumb is thicker. It's also glazed and then frosted, so it's very sweet. Not my favorite. All right, let's have a look at more. Instead of me just eating. Let's see what else we got in the stash. Oh, here's just a little spatula wooden handle. I like this because I wanted, this is for using things like you see a picture here that's like for okonomiyaki. But I think that I really am looking for, I had this turner years ago. I think it was a Japanese turner, but really thin. The blade was really, really thin. I think somebody stole it at a party, like, where they just took it home with them, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was my favorite one." I was so upset. Oh, these are raceways for cables. I've got a desk upstairs that needs cable raceways. What else do we have in here? Silicone. I found these. These are silicone molds, like maybe 100 yen or $2 each. Silicone cake molds. I'm thinking about cakes. There's a lot of stuff I'm thinking about for the new shop. So some of this stuff I'm picking up for that, like this whisk. I thought that was kind of cool. Look at this balloon whisk with this other, I forgot the name of this whisk, this style of whisk, but you know, this is only what? Again, $2. $2, not bad. Little tiny colander, love that, love that. Oh, some flower scissors for the garden. Gotta love that. All right, that's good. And then now also, there's another place there. So that's all the stuff from Daiso. There's also a place called Little Japan. It's kind of this general store that have all this stuff. A lot of stuff. They've got like toys, and they've got clothes and stuff for the home, tatami mats if you need them. But what they do have is a lot of like kitchen goods. So they've got like bowls and cooking utensils. And so this is what I picked up here. This is I believe this is a Kyushu, what they call Kyushu teapot for sencha style teas. A little tiny Kyushu, little tiny one. This goes like $30 or so, but you know, you hold it and you kind of brew with it. I've been thinking more about senchas and stuff like that. Keone says, "Oh yeah, that's right. The George Naope Hula edition. That's right. I remember you talking about that. That's very exciting. Very exciting. Another thing that I got here is this this trivet from Iwachu. Iwachu is the same manufacturer of the cast iron kettle that I have. So this is the little trivet, very much in the style of it. Actually, I am thinking that maybe my Iwachu is not really made by Iwachu. I think it's made by some generic manufacturer because it doesn't have the hallmarks like this label on the box, and it doesn't have, there's actually a stamping. Yeah. It doesn't have this stamping on it. So I'm wondering if I got a knockoff Iwachu. Okay, so that's that. What else do we have here? We've got, oh, a receipt. Oh, this one, I wasn't going to buy this, but then I thought, oh, it'd be kind of cool. You know, I think it'd be a nice thing to just kind of, you know, use in service at the new shop. Because I bought one, I only bought one because I wanted to try it out then. But it's a real subtle thing. Well, at least I think it might be subtle. And some people will never understand it, but I think some people will. And I'll just let you figure it out based on that. So this is a little, I don't know what it's for. It's maybe for water or for some kind of bowl. But I thought, you know, I'm always looking at different bowls and serviceware because I think it's interesting. But I think this would be a nice little subtle hint. And if you know what that is, let me know. And it wasn't terribly expensive. That's that. And then here, the last thing. Oh, just a cheap USB-C type C cable. So yeah, there it is. That's pretty much all the haul that I have from our trip to New Jersey. Some coffee. But nice little items to play. Oh, I like this. I'm gonna use this today because I'm working on a fruit sando recipe. All right, so I guess that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is our haul from Daiso, Little Japan, and Kinokuniya. So exciting stuff. If you ever get down to Edgewater, that's what you want to check out. But we're back again tomorrow with another coffee Q&A. So if you have any questions, let me know. I know that some people have been asking about the e-brick. We're going to work on that. I have to get everything in order for the e-brick. That's a little bit, it turns out that's a little bit more complex in that I don't know where my e-brick stuff went. Yeah, that's really the main thing. Yeah, it's quite a bit of stuff. Peter says Totoro. No, is it Totoro? You know what? I'll be honest with you. I am not qualified enough to have that piece. But I think it is. Okay, so it's a Studio Ghibli piece. I don't really know anything about Studio Ghibli other than the fact that lots of people that I know are big fans. And I went to a green tea shop that was across from Studio Ghibli. That was a big thing for a lot of people. They're like, oh, you went to Studio Ghibli? I didn't go to Studio Ghibli. I don't really know Studio Ghibli, so I can't. But it is a Studio Ghibli piece, and I thought people might, those who are fans of Studio Ghibli would enjoy it. Is it Totoro? Maybe that's the name. I don't know. Sorry. All right, so anyway, back again tomorrow. Hope to see you guys. If not, see you when you can. Love to have you join us. Tavin, welcome. Q&A as well. Good to see you. Hope you have a great time in Sacramento. Mom, Peter, always good to see you guys. And see you guys next time.